G'day folks, welcome back to another share update. Now this is a user request analysis. So I'm going to go through NVIDIA today. Now there's still a bearish outlook. This is going to be an analysis I usually do on my weekend videos for Patreon subscribers, where I look at some bullish shares across various regions. And today we're looking at NVIDIA, and this is not one of them, unfortunately, if you own NVIDIA. Still obviously hitting new highs, but at the moment showing some weakness in the indications we've got. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel. So first, looking at the outlook for NVIDIA. Profitability, operating margin increased to 62.3% in third quarter 2024, up from 62.06% in the previous quarter. Growth revenue grew by 16.7% in quarter 3 2024, reaching $35.08 billion. Insider activity in the past 3 months, corporate insiders sold shares worth approximately $131 million. In terms of rewards for NVIDIA stock, earnings are forecast to grow 21.5% per year. Earnings grew by 237% over the past year. Analysts in good agreement that stock price will rise by 27%. In terms of risks, high level of non-cash earnings and significant insider selling over the past 3 months. So as always, we look at the long-term trends, and we've got the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. We cover these in our daily videos on other instruments like gold and silver and natural gas, etc. And this is no exception. So on the monthly chart, you can see there the price has been quite strong since about February 2023, above its moving averages. But notice the CCI, which is our major indicator we use, has dipped a couple of times, giving us these pullbacks. Now at the moment, on the monthly at least, we had a bearish divergence. You can see there it pulled back, hit out 23-38% minimum target range. And if I was just to illustrate on this one, if we go back to that recent low before that divergence started, so we take it from the high down to that area, you can see there it's hit that 23-38% level retrace. That's a minimum retrace. So these divergence doesn't mean it's going to collapse. It just means a bit of a retrace, and more than 90% of the time it does hit this 23-38% level. Now it's actually bounced out of that so far this month and still above the respective moving averages on the price. But notice the CCI on the monthly, it's broken to the downside. That's not a good sign in terms of trend. We want to see that above like it was back during this period. So on the monthly, showing a bearish outlook, even though the price looks like it's still quite strong. On the weekly, you can see there it's actually been consolidating in this area on the price. It's broken below a couple of times, and this time it's broken a lot lower than that previous break on the moving average of the price. But notice the CCI is still declining, and that's another bearish divergence. So again, this is a different divergence to the monthly. They're in different time frames, different divergence. So you can see there that's if I took that I'll take it back to this area actually. Where am I going? I think it's back to this area. If you take it back to that recent low before the divergence started, that's 23-38% level. It sort of touched it a few times and it's broken down and broken up again. So again, it's uncertain. I'd like to see this break higher than the moving averages on the CCI to be more confident. But at the moment, that's not looking good for NVIDIA. If you look at all 3 timelines, or monthly, the weekly especially, they're both bearish on the CCI. Now on the daily, again, we had this resistance up here at 153.70. You hit it a couple of times, broke down, hit our minimum retrace on the Fibonacci between that high and that low. That's a 23-38% retrace level, which I always talk about. In this case, it went down as far as a 61%. Now, if it broke below that level, that would have been a lot more dangerous. But you'll notice the CCI, that was after this bearish divergence, by the way. You'll notice the CCI is broken up above the moving averages, which is a positive, and so is the price. So that's a positive on the daily. So looking good on the shorter time frame, but not so good on the longer time frame. So if we go to the intraday, and it's always important to look at the intraday in terms of what it's looking at under the microscope. So here you can see it's bounced off that resistance, as I said. It broke down. Most of that period it was trending, the CCI was trending in line with the price. It gapped down, and it was always going to come and fill this. This is what they call a liquidity sweep. It came back and started filling that area. And you can see there we had a bullish divergence as well versus lower lows on the price, and the price did pull back. And again, if I drew a Fibonacci between that low and that high, you can see there it's rested on that 61%. So again, I'd like to see that break higher than that 61% to be bullish, in which case we'll see the daily also start rising, and hopefully we start seeing the weekly as well. But at the moment, the hourly is looking okay. It's there's not really a divergence there. That's pretty much a double top almost. Just be cautious of that. If we see that on the hourly starting to drop off, then we might see further weakening of the price. But at the moment, in the short term at least, it's somewhat bullish. On the longer term, it's a bit of a bearish outlook at the moment. We also look at the Yahoo Finance page for insider transactions. So you can see here we put in NVIDIA as the ticker on the Yahoo Finance page. And under the summary page, the first thing you look at is whenever you're doing buying shares especially, we'll look at any dividend yield, and if the dividend is providing a yield, that's something you can add positive. So even if the stock price goes against you and you want to hold it for a longer term, at least you're getting a dividend. But in terms of insider transactions, we go to the holders tab. And under the holders, you've got the major holders there, and that shows you the top institutional holders. So the top three are Vanguard, BlackRock, and FMR. If they mean anything to you, I know Vanguard and BlackRock are pretty big investment firms. And then if you go to insider transactions, in the last 6 months, you can see 2.1 million shares were purchased, 18 transactions, and 10.5 million shares were sold. So a lot more sales than purchases made in the last 6 months. And if you are interested in some insiders, you can scroll down and find out who the directors of the offices were, or what sort of insider transactions had taken place. To support the channel more, hit that like and subscribe button and share the video. For added benefits and the cost of a coffee, consider subscribing to the Patreon page, where we look at weekly scans of bullish trending shares and insider trades that may have occurred. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.